Okay. Well, please rise to the pledge, please.
Flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I am Mike Hahn, supervisor.
Good morning. Say the fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Ellen.
John Henry is the deputy supervisor. Matt Jankowski is the attorney. The first thing we are going to do basically is we are going to do public comment number one. There's nothing signed up there. Don't sign up sheet.
There were
Wait,
a
hang
few
on,
minutes
hang on.
ago.
There's a sign up sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to open public comment number one.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Good. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Your sheet?
Someone signed up.
No one signed up.
No one signed up. Okay. Now it's a free for all. Anybody wish to speak? Come on, you got a lot to say. You got a lot to do during the day. All right. Your choice. Make a motion to close public comment number one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, what I want to do first, a little bit, I want to introduce you William Spencer. All right, he is our new building inspector. He's also going to be our MS4 person and also our ZBO, zoning enforcement, going through it. I want to just break a little bit because William has to leave soon. He is here basically to talk about the park benches that was donated. And to give you a little history about this, a town resident, Jody Cooper, came to me and said that she wants to go around and solicit vendors, local vendors, to have, they can buy benches and have their names put their plaque put there, or the plaque that they were saying in loving memory of, or donated by, and so forth. And these benches are going to sit on the rail trail. So last meeting, when I brought this up, John Perry said to me, speak to the rail trail from the party. All right. Ralph Durham, I called Ralph Durham, who's the chairperson of it, and I said, can we get together with the rail trail committee to talk about these benches? And the response was, I am the rail trail committee. At that time.
At that time.
So he and I, rail trail committee and myself, we discussed this thing. We came in, we met with Jody Cooper. There were a couple of benches that she said looks good. He and I both said this one was better, so forth. And before we knew it, she bought it. And so basically is that we got these benches here more or less, and then eventually, John, you had a meeting with the rail trail committee later on, and for some reason they repopulated the group. Now you had 7 people there. They all showed up and they all rejected the benches. And they rejected the benches for a reason saying that they weren't ADA compliant, they weren't industrial strength. They didn't match the benches that were there. And they were afraid also it wasn't secure. I sat down with William Spencer, we looked at the benches, we took one apart, I looked at the benches, and well, William, you want to go a little further now? How are the benches?
So the benches will support up to
Do me a favor, William, do you want to be a?
Stand up at the microphone.
Oh.
He's a rookie. You both are early.
We're secretly broadcasting you.
So these benches are capable of supporting up to 660 pounds of weight, horizontally and vertically. The way we discussed about keeping them secure was to put them in, to tie them to footings that will be 2 feet deep within the earth. Granite, tied into cement blocks that will be 2 feet by 2 feet, giving us 4 footings on each post. That would keep them secure and capable of withstanding a hurricane, pretty much.
Can they walk?
If you get the high school football team together and they're drunk and angry enough,
Would you like to comment?
But not by any other means, no. What we discussed was to once they are mounted in position, was to weld the nuts onto the post. That way they could not be removed by any other means outside of cutting them. That would keep them in place for as long as we wanted them there.
There were, we have now, we started out with 13 benches, and then another person, wanted to put a bench in. Another person, we have 14 benches that we have, available. Now, the stretch of it is, the stretch of the rail trail in town of Hurley is 1 mile long. If you divide 14 into 5,280 feet, that's like 700 feet apart.
But that was I thought that paved section was 2.2.
700.
Is it too, well, then it's more than.
It's so much longer,
All
yeah,
right.
so you've got a much bigger space between.
Okay, well, I'm saying basically, we can't put these in, we can't have these inserted in there. And all the qualms that the committee had, I think William answered. I know when you and I met with William and looked at the benches again. You
I
know,
think the only thing was that they don't match those.
well, to be very honest,
Do you want to go through these?
these benches that we haven't, yeah, the benches that are there right now are in poor shape. The slats are damaged.
Just so you guys know,
Oh, geez.
yeah, they've been around for a
Boom.
long time.
So we would take those out?
We could take those out and replace them, just leaving them. And these are the benches that Mike, that the highway department put in years ago.
We replaced, I don't know, we put in the last few years, we've been 3 or 4. I don't know where that one is though. I've never seen that.
Well, I walked the rail trail the other day and I looked at these benches and they're in dire straits.
Sheldon, Quimby and I took a long walk yesterday to confirm the way, I saw a couple of those benches. One berm actually had something that looked like cardboard. On a cardboard bench. I was like, okay.
Right. Yeah, and the thing is, you made a suggestion, like the berm, put some benches around the berm that people can sit there and,
I would recommend
The position assessment of what's currently there, as well as I know there's some examples of car and other stuff, just so that they're aware that there's stuff. Legal standpoint, if they are deteriorate to the point where there could be, dangerous, there could be something for us to potentially address while we're installing the benches.
right, well, here's the thing, here's the situation going on. I don't know how the rail trail committee is going to feel about these benches. The issue is that we got these benches are on a 30-day consignment, that if we don't, we can return them within 30 days. We ordered them on April 17th, which gives us to May 17th, and to return them, get our full refund coming through. Today's May 12th, 17th is like sometime like Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to make a decision whether we return the benches, for a refund, and then go back to the solicitors, go back to the vendors who paid for it and return the money to them, or we install them. I think these benches, my personal opinion, they look nice. And these benches look real nice. They're very sturdy. They are ADA compliant. They meet the code going through here, which I believe the fact the way William described how to secure them, it's there. It's done.
Yeah.
So what's the real concern?
Mine? Well, number one, I think that the rail trail needs what would you call it? An update of material, better looking material than those benches. The benches have been around forever. So this is an opportunity to change the face of the rail trail. I don't know where we're going to find the time, the money, and the labor to set all these in. That's my own take on it.
Well,
And the test, and it's going to be a test. They're not that expensive where if one should fail, that it cannot be replaced. That's also a thought.
Do we have an estimate for what the cost would be, labor and materials to?
Well, I'm in discussions with the highway department. All right. Discuss with the highway department if they can spare one of their highway crews.
Because roads.
I know they do, I know, but they also do things for the town also.
You got-
Just like we do things for the highway department.
You're gonna have a budget for rail trail. Like I said, we had forms for concrete ones with the electric lumber that they've done. Those are the ones that we did for the park. We did 3 for the parks. We did a couple of replacements. We did one we replaced down in the woods at the head of the, one of the ends of the woods part of the trail.
Right, in that little part of the
We
area.
replaced a couple of them. They take 3 bags of concrete for each side of the form, 6 bags of concrete. And then
There's
the hard-
there's some money in the capital funds for the trail.
And there's also money in the right trail.
Why don't you guys see the home of the rail trail?
Hang on,
So my question is, the rail trail committee is opposed to this idea.
Yes.
What is their kind of proposal? Do they have one?
No, they do not.
So they just, yeah, I'm sorry. go ahead.
So I'm Vince Napoli, I'm on the rail trail committee
Okay, please.
for the last 20+ years. Yes. And I can tell you that we met the other day at the gazebo and we talked about these benches and we had some concerns. One, the building inspector addressed them. However, anything that goes along the rail trail needs to be DOT approved. So
I will,
putting footings in, we don't know if the DOT is going to approve that, for one.
Takes time.
The highway department has already built the forms or has the forms to make new benches. And the committee voted unanimously not to go with this. So I think it's a bad idea. You have all these people volunteering, committing their time, and they voted no. They brought that to the chair. The chair brought it to to Mike. And now if you change that, you're gonna upset everybody on the rail trail committee.
Do you have a counter proposal? Do you have another option? Do you have other benches that you were able to provide? Do you have?
We do, the ones that are currently there now that Mike was just talking about, he'd have to build them 6 bags of concrete, but that would remain in consistency with the benches that are currently there. If you have to do a refresh, you do a refresh. But
My understanding.
that's the
ones-
alternative, that's what the rail trail committee came up with, was to go with the existing forms that the highway department has and build the benches that we had in place. I don't know when the first one went in, but for a while. So that's the counter proposal to the donated benches that were purchased.
My understanding is the ones that are there now and not serviceable. That's my understanding, right? They're in pretty bad shape.
I don't know, Mike looked at some of them. I'll have to take a walk. I rode my mountain bike on the rail trail today. I didn't really take a look at the benches.
Okay.
But I don't know what shape the concrete is in, but if it's a matter of replacing the pressure treated with the 2x6s or 2x4s, whatever's on it, there's a cost associated with that.
Well, when we pour the forms, we put the hardware in, the lags are right in the concrete base, and then you just take the sleeve out and you put new lag in. I haven't looked at them lately. I know we've done 4, 5, 6 benches in the last few years. Like I said, 3 of them are in Central Park. I forget how many we put down on the other, but it's 2 or 3.
You need the
You know
whole.
what it's total, you have a total number of benches?
yeah, we just,
The ones you showed me there were put in when they did the rail trail.
yeah, let me just,
I'll
Mike,
get back and,
let me just, your point. I spoke to the DOT. I spoke to Dave Corrigan. All right, and DOT. We have what's called a work usage program with the DOT, which allows us to do anything we want on the rail trail. So I mentioned the benches to him. He said, that's what you want to do, you can do that. It's got permission of the DOT. So we have gone that legal authority in that aspect of it.
We didn't know that when we met the other day, but
To be honest with you, Dave, I didn't know that he would be, I know that John told me he's gonna meet with, Ralph. I talked about other things at the rail trail. I didn't know that the entire group was there, because I would have went down there also and answered some of the questions there. But again, what William said basically is they are industrial strength, they are, ADA approved, and the DOT has approved them to be on there.
I think we have to take into account what the rail trail committee is.
Understand?
And one of the other concerns was that 14 benches along that stretch is a lot of benches. I think we came up with like 500 or 700 feet. You would have.
Well, is it 2.2
It's
miles?
1.2
This is the
paved
paved.
section, so that spreads it out.
In other words, then it's 2.2, then it's every 1,400 feet.
So
It's a quarter mile.
that's a lot of work for the guys mowing to have to mow around. As it is now, when they mow, they're not mowing with the push mower, right? They've got this big commercial machine, and then they have to go back and weed whack it. So now you're gonna,
No, they don't do the weed whacking. We
Okay.
do the weed whacking. And
all right,
we come back afterwards. In other words, we send our groundskeeper there. He comes in with a smaller mower and a weed whacker. He goes around and does everything that the highway doesn't do. So they can't, right now, at the point, they don't mow around the benches there. That's what we did, mow at the benches.
Mike, point of order. I mean, we have strayed significantly from the agenda. I don't think that this is a wrong conversation to have. But I'm very concerned that, you know, we're going in a direction here that we shouldn't go.
Well, the only reason I'm saying this is because, if we say no to the benches, we gotta return them this week.
I get it. The committee voted no unanimously, so I don't know what to tell you, man. If you want to keep them, we're.
You want to put that money towards the concrete and push cream lumber?
We have, I believe, Lowe's has donated leg bolts as well as, 10 days of concrete for these benches.
Home Depot.
Home Depot, I'm sorry.
Well, that, we use it to, for the,
Well, the thing is, they're not,
I'm sure Lowe's will donate the same.
we say it's that for the,
I can get you a cost of what the concrete one, the first street one.
well, it's up to the board so forth. Betsy?
I just wanted to say someone might be able to call and get an extension on the 30 days if you need a decision. On the other hand, I'm really compelled when a volunteer board votes unanimously.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Second.
Thank you, William. Okay, all right, supervisor report, basically, I'm sorry, approval of the minutes. We have, the minutes from 28th.
Yeah, that was the one she sent around. They're posted.
Have you all,
I
I did
here
also,
is the comments.
right? Have you guys, the minutes? All right, we made, and, we have sent comments over, I sent some comments, Debbie has sent some comments over.
There's some clarification.
Got the clarification from that to confirm what you said.
Is that already included in, if we're gonna approve it? Or do you have to still do the change?
Well, I'll make the change. But we still have one question. Does anybody have a note as to who seconded the exiting of the?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should table it until. the
Yeah,
next meeting.
You were here last. I didn't go.
All right, let's hold off until next meeting, and then by next meeting, we should have this meeting also.
Hopefully.
Get the time.
Make a motion to defer the
Motion to table approval of the minutes themselves.
Also.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Gregory motion to table, I second, and everyone approved.
We don't have much time.
All right, the next one here is supervisor report. Wendy, you have given us the report.
Yes, tonight, the only thing, since it's a workshop, the only thing you guys have is the budget to actual. That's all you have. And at the town board meeting, the second meeting of the month, you will get the full financials.
So this doesn't include the transfers in from the capital, you're working on transfers in?
Mike and I got interrupted and have not
So
had,
this doesn't include that, so.
Correct.
We went to 55 to 41%.
Because-
In a pretty short period.
because of all the vouchers that got approved last meeting. Because again, the vouchers you're working on tonight are not in there because they haven't been approved. But we did approve a significant amount of capital expenses at the last meeting. Mike and I are in the middle of working on it, And then unfortunately.
So I basically need to wait till we get there.
Okay. All right. I will, my other super report deals with the Hurley Heritage Community Center, and we'll talk about that when we get to it Okay, presentation we have right now is from Montrose Central School. Monica, Claire.
I have it up, Monica, let me just put it up here.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you all tonight. Superintendent McLaren sends her regards. She is on the other side of the district doing the exact same presentation to the town of Olive. So we start with our budget highlights.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Unless you have a clicker.
No, it's fine.
No.
The clerk asked me
Okay.
something and I got lost.
So for 25-26, just kind of to start it off, we have staffed our new security vestibule with professional security. That was something that was not originally in the budget, so we added it this year, and will be continued in the next year's budget. For next year, we're really looking to strengthen the early literacy for our students. The teachers have gotten together with the assistant superintendent for instruction and curriculum, have reviewed some different series that are out there, and have chosen something that they really believe will help strengthen reading for our younger learners. Next page is kind of where we're continuing. As you can see, most of it is continuing what we are already doing, which is really maintaining strong academic and extracurricular programming. We are looking at staffing as staff members retire, whether or not they need to be replaced based on enrollment. And again, all these wonderful things that we do to support our students. So all of that, when we look at our budgets, next slide. We are looking at a 26-27 proposed budget of $66,481,500, which is an increase of $2.892 million or 4.55% over the current year. I do want to point out that we are looking to add an additional $1 million of appropriated fund balance to support capital work over the summer, and I'll explain what that is farther down in the presentation. But that's why that 4.55 might look a little scary, but it's really not as bad as that, because that million actually adds to it. So if you look at the 26-27 proposed budget, you can see as far as dollar-wise that most of our funds go to instruction, and the second highest would be employee benefits, very common for public schools in New York State. And then the $1 million you can see at the bottom, had we not done that additional $1 million of transfer, our budget would have actually been slightly less, and total increase would have been 2.98%. What are the drivers in the budget? None of this should surprise any of you. If you're doing your own personal budgets, it's about the same. Insurance, general insurance is going up like 10%. Again, it's not a reflection of our claims, but really as the industry as a whole. We have BOCES, and their administrative costs are going up by 6% because they're facing the same inflationary issues that we are. In the operation and maintenance department, that's security vestibule is adding to our budget for next year, and our utility costs are increasing dramatically. We're looking at about a 30% increase. Instruction, which is our largest, as I mentioned, largest part of our budget, is $22 million, or 75% of our instruction budget is salaries. And then about 11% is for our out-of-district placement of special ed students. This is going up by about 13%. Our non-salary portion of the budget is going up by 6.7%. And really the salary part of the instruction budget is increasing minimally, because as I mentioned, when we have retirees, we really look at them. We have 4 retirees this year, and we are not replacing any of them. In addition, transportation, you know, we are one of the largest geographically challenged districts, I'll say. So we have a contract with First Student that is going up by 3%. We are also looking to purchase a bus, and buses are also going up by about 20%. One of the biggest drivers for us this year is health insurance costs. I'm sure many of you are aware that health insurance costs have seen a larger increase than previous years. So far, active employees are going up about 11%. For retirees, it's about 4 to 6% because many of our retirees are Medicare eligible, which means the increase is slightly less. We also pay into a teacher retirement system and an employee retirement system. Teacher retirement system is decreasing slightly. Employee retirement system is increasing slightly. So, in addition, we are continuing to support our local libraries, and we have very little debt. Actually, the only debt we currently have is a lift at the bus garage. And then we have other funds that we call interfund transfers that support other areas of the school, cafeteria, summer skills, and then capital work. So just as far as equipment, we have $359,100 budgeted for equipment in the budget. A lot of it is for buildings and grounds, looking for a floor refinisher, a tractor, and a new scoreboard for the softball and the soccer field. Athletics is looking to purchase wrestling mats and an outdoor throwing platform. If you've seen our track and field, we have one of the best state throwers. I can't think of what that is called. Yeah, shot put. Thank you. We have one of the best shot puts. I think 2 girls both went to states this year. So, and then transportation is looking to purchase a large bus in addition to a van. So the capital work that I was talking about, so that $1 million that we're looking to add to, we had originally done a capital project last summer, which entailed upgrading the middle school gym. One of the things that happened is when they started to demolish the gym floor, was they found out that there is concrete between the joists in the floor. It was an unforeseen condition. We did not have the funding to take care of it. So we had to pull it out of that project. So we're actually doing it this summer. In addition to upgrading our elevator, which we can no longer use for humans going up and down. We can only send equipment up and down because the tracks aren't quite meeting up, and there's concerns that it could be potentially dangerous. So we're replacing that in addition to doing some asbestos abatement in these 28 halls, that kind of long haul that parallels Route 28. But the other $750,000, what we normally have in our budget, we're looking to do some refresh. We have some old carpeting in both the school counseling suite and the learning center. Our server room is in need of some serious repairing, and hopefully, if we can afford to, we're hoping to do some paving, because like the roads that we drive on, our parking lot is not looking so great either. And then some roof repairs. So as far as our revenue budget, you can see our tax levy is going to be about 2.48%. State aid is looking to increase about 1.4%. Some additional miscellaneous, but for a total revenue increase of 1.448 million. And as of now it's May 12th, there is still no New York State budget. So we are still not 100% sure what our state aid is going to be. But so we do kind of best guesstimate like every other school in New York State. So as you know, we are subject to the tax levy limit. This is our tax levy limit formula. You can see what happened in 25-26, where we are in 26-27. I will say the one biggest change for us was under the tax-based growth factor. It is gone down compared to last year. And what that means, there hasn't been the brick and mortar growth as there has been in previous years. So our total dollar increase is 1.22 million, or 2.48%. So you can see it again here. Proposed 50,626,535,000. It is at the limit. So questions that we have gotten is, why is the budget going up 4.55%, but the tax levy is going up 2.48? That doesn't make any sense. So most of it is because we are using fund balance to help offset the taxes. As I mentioned, 2.9 is kind of the normal that we use every year, but now we're looking at that one time $1 million to support the capital work. We have seen some growth in the non-tax revenues, and then we work to have prior year savings to help us stabilize our current budget. So I thought you might be interested in kind of the historical changes year over year. So this is district wide. You can see our total district levy the change in levy each year, and then compare it to the CPI. And as you can see in 22, 23 through, all the way up through now, CPI has been much higher than the tax levy has allowed us. And then the budget increase on the far right that supports that. So as for the town of Hurley, as you know, you can live in the town of Hurley and be either in the Ontario School District or the Kingston School District. So this is specific to those that are in the Ontario School District. You see where the town assessment for Ontario and the change in that assessment, the town tax levy, the tax levy change, and the biggest issues that we've seen over the years is the equalization rate. So whereas some towns have, as such as Hurley, have been, trying to, the last few years, get to 100%, we still have quite a few towns that are not there yet. I would say Woodstock is at a 46%. Shandaken is at 14%. So what happens is, and we're 6 towns in the school district. So what happens is the Office of Real Property comes down, they plop themselves down, they pick a handful of homes, they view, okay, this is what it's assessed at, this is what we think the fair market value is, and that difference is the equalization rate. And then every property within that municipality gets that equalization rate, whether it's right or not, it doesn't matter. So that's why it's good to keep up to 100%, and that's why it fluctuates so much from town to town. When one town's equalization rate changes so dramatically, it affects other towns. This is kind of explaining about what equalization rate is, and what it what it represents, kind of what I explained earlier. So just as something that is required for us to present to the public is kind of where percentage-wise all the funding goes. As you can see, that majority of it is instruction and employee benefits, with general support, operations, maintenance, transportation, and the others kind of rounding it out to 100%. And we are also required to show you the 3-part budget as a percentage for the 3 components. So the program component is the instructional piece, that's the capital, capital piece, and administration is everything else. It's your legal, it's your insurance, it's your BOCES, it's your administrators, and things like that. So this is just kind of shows you what falls into each of those. As I mentioned, you've got BOCES, you've got insurance and legal under administrative, you've got school bus purchases, debt service, utilities and maintenance under capital. Again, an increase of 1.5 million. The 1 million of that is that additional transfer to capital that we've been talking about, with program being your majority of your costs, which is your teachers, salaries, benefits, textbooks, and your transportation costs. So should the budget fail on May 19th, the Board of Ed has some options. They can present the same budget at the June re-levy, or the reload, I mean. They could present a new budget, or they could go straight to contingency. If the budget goes down a second time, then the board is required to adopt a contingency budget. So what a contingency budget means is the tax levy cannot be any higher in 26-27 as it was in 25-26, which would mean that we would have a difference. We would need to find cuts of that $1.2 million. We are also not allowed to purchase equipment, kind of an archaic law, but it's still there. So that $394,000 that we have in equipment would come off the top, and then we would have to find another, $900,000 or so. We would also have a administrative cap, and then would be required to charge fees to any organization that wanted to use the school buildings. So on next Tuesday, the ballot proposition 1 will be a budget of $66,481,500, and that includes $20,000 that will support all the local libraries in the district, 5 of them. And then the second proposition.
Sorry.
I feel like Dan.
That's okay.
So there's a second proposition that we're asking the voters to approve, and this is to set up a capital reserve. So we currently, the capital reserve that we had, the voters approved for us to use as part of this consolidation that we are currently in the process of doing. So now that, that money's been, allocated, we're looking to set up a new capital reserve. So voters are required to approve us to set up a capital reserve. So we're looking to set up one that will, be funded for a total of $10 million over 10 years. It doesn't have to be funded in year one. It doesn't have to be funded in year 10. It would be funded if there are year-end savings. And again, this allows us to save money so that if we look to do a project, it's cash we already have in hand, no additional cost to the taxpayers. So this is what that proposition looks like, which is why I did the bullet in the front, make it a little easier. The one thing this does include that's relatively new is it also gives us the option. It's not required, not mandated, but it gives us an option to look at using this funds for electric buses if we are eventually required to go there. We also have 3 board trustee seats. We have 2 candidates that will appear on the ballot, Aubrey O'Neill and Carolyn Jerome. Carolyn Jerome currently sits on the board. So there is going to be an option for a writing candidate. If anyone is interested, and know of anybody, feel free to write your name. So just kind of briefly, our district clerk put this together to kind of help people. How do you write in a candidate? Because it's actually a little different for a school. You have to decide 1 and 2, yes, and then write in at the bottom of the 3rd row. So we will have instructions all over when you come to vote. So we're hoping to make it a little easier for people because I hear it's complicated. And we are not the only school district facing that this year. New Paltz, I believe, has also 2 candidates for 3 seats. Saugerties actually has 2 candidates for 4 open seats. So again, for those of you who voted in December, we will be doing it the same way this year. We will be voting in a single location at the middle school, high school, in the wrestling room. Voting hours are extended from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And you can vote in person or you can vote by early mail voting. And if you're interested in early mail voting, you can click on that link and you can get the application, or you can go to our website, ontour.k12.ny.us, and find it there. And in addition, our district clerk has made herself available to the Woodstock Library and the Phoenicia Library on Saturday, May 16th. So you can go to the libraries, 9 to noon in Woodstock, 1 to 4 in Phoenicia, and you can pick up your early mail voting and vote there instead. And that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
You and I spoke before about the large increase in taxes, school taxes here. About Woodstock.
Yes. So Woodstock's equalization rate actually went kind of in the direction down, which means that they actually paid less taxes last year than in the previous year. So unfortunately, what that means is everybody else is going to, because we the tax levy is the tax levy, but how it's spread amongst the towns is totally dependent on the assessment and the utilization rate. And I don't know if, I know Woodstock said they were looking to do a reval. I do not know if they've done what they're planning on doing on this year.
If they do a rebound, basically, they'll raise their taxes as a result.
Potentially, yeah.
And lower out.
And our taxes should go correct.
So you mentioned something about fund balance. I'm trying to understand. The $1 million came from what? And is there a balance that you have?
Yes, absolutely. So we have, it is not in there. We should have put that in. If you go on our website, we actually have a fund balance plan that schools are required to do. I can actually email it to you if you'd like. But we have, besides unappropriated fund balance, which schools are limited to 4% unappropriated, we also have reserves. And we actually are very healthy in reserves. We have about 20 million, close to 20 million.
Fund balance.
Yeah, with reserves and unappropriated fund balance, yeah.
You mentioned security.
Yes.
Is that armed or unarmed?
It's unarmed.
Now you really have an SRO.
Correct. We have 2 SROs. And we have unarmed security that just man the security vestibule at the middle school, high school.
What is your projection for enrollment?
So unfortunately, our kindergarten enrollment is looking to be about, I think it's less than 60 kids. And for those of you who remember the good old days, Elizabeth and I actually graduated together. Class of 1984, we had a class of 221.
I remember when I first started teaching on the, in my grade 12, 1,750 students.
Yeah. And it's, you know, and again, it's not something that's unique to Ontario. Most schools are seeing declining enrollment throughout the state and even throughout the nation. You know, it's expensive to raise kids. People are having kids later, if they're having not, you know, some are not having kids at all. And in this area, a lot of second homeowners. You know, second homeowners used to kind of be limited to Woodstock. It kind of then spread to kind of Phoenicia. Now we're actually seeing it a lot of it on this side in West Hurley. So, you know, most of those people don't have children and don't send children to our schools. So.
Yes, you mentioned that was last year the first year that you went down to just having voting in one school,
Yes, last December.
and what was, how did that affect the percentage of people voting?
Actually, it didn't affect it at all. And what we found was actually, we found that majority of our voters are senior citizens. And they appreciated having the earlier hours. What was happening when we had it from 2 to 9 was that everybody was waiting until 2 p.m. and it was just like this mass like entrance people trying to vote, which is what caused all the lines. Now that we're starting at 7 a.m. going all the way to 9 p.m., it was very smooth. We have very consistent numbers all throughout the day. And we have plenty of parking.
Are you planning on like going with one bus schedule for everybody?
No, we'll continue the staggered busing, and most of the reason why is because it'll be very difficult to get the sheer volume of bus drivers to get all the kids to school at the exact same time. Yes.
I'm just curious if your budget includes increases in fuel supply costs, and if you're considering electric vehicles to replace.
So we have no electric vehicles in this budget. However, as you know, it is a mandate by the governor to have all vehicles be electric for school districts. It's currently set at 2027 with some opportunities for extensions. We have worked with NYSERDA, we've worked with Central Hudson. We have been told that 30% of our buses will not make it through the day because of our geographic locations, because of the weather, because of the, you know, the roads and the incline.
So the other thing is, you obviously put this budget together maybe a month or so ago, and your fuel costs might not be reflective.
We are we're very cautious. You know, we
Planning for the high side.
Yeah.
Hello, first, please say hi to Matt from us. I appreciate this is great detail. I think, you know, a lot of work that went into this. So, I'll piggybacking off of what Greg said, based on your fund balance. So it sounds like you're taking your interest in earnings from, and you're putting that $1 million from your interest in earning back into your additional trust. So I appreciate that greatly. Thank you. And what are the 4 teachers that are going to be replaced? What subjects and what teachers?
So we're lucky they're all over. So we have one that's a reading specialist. That now that we've got lower numbers, we don't just have reading specialists. One is the middle school social studies teacher. So because the high school classes now are being smaller, they're bringing him down. He's going to teach some high school and some middle school. It is
Also losing your principal. I think.
yes, Mr. Bono. It's very sad. We are replacing him. And, yeah, I think the other one was special ed. What one is that? Oh, elementary. We have an elementary teacher that's retiring that doesn't need to be replaced.
You know, older teachers they are staying. There's no excessive.
No, and we are very lucky. There are so many school districts in our county that need to reduce their staffing. And again, a lot of it is, you know, 1% increase in state aid doesn't even cover health insurance increases, it's, and many other schools are much more dependent on state aid than Oxford is. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just want to mention, we do have a write-in candidate that announced that they're running as a write-in candidate for the board. It's, Phaedra Dagger Mansion. Yeah,
Mansion.
the 12-letter last name, so it may or may not fit on the ballot.
And I will tell you, given we actually asked Ulster County Board of Elections, given that their name was so complicated, we're like, what is the legal requirement? Does it have to be spelled exactly? And they're like, no. As long as you can tell that was their intent, then it counts. So if you can muddle through Dagger Mansion, yeah, we'll take it.
Any other questions? Okay, Greg?
Monica.
Yeah.
If it's okay, we'll go ahead and put a PDF up on our town
Yeah,
website.
Not a problem at all.
Yep.
Okay, so, we're going to be talking about, the wrap up of the content of the zoning update. Next slide. First, I'm Greg Tetzlaff, Chair of the Planning Board, and I have been acting as a project manager for basically collecting, organizing, and getting through all of the zoning updates so that all of you can make the decisions on what's being presented. Next slide. So, sort of a recap of where we are. We started off with battery energy storage systems and the code to support that. We do have a moratorium that's coming to an end at the end of September. So for all of this, we have a hard deadline. We also have discussed ADUs, accessory dwelling units, as well as some significant updates to the visual assessment in the zoning code. And that brings us to today, where we're going to be looking at, we're talking about quite a few miscellaneous items that are important, but none are large in scope. So this is a quick rundown, having to do changes to the code for the ZBA, for the code enforcement officer, for special use permits, site plan review and height exceptions, and then just sort of a hodgepodge of other edits and typos and things like that that we found in the code. And finally, a reformat of our attachments that are to the code. So let's get started. And I promise this will go fast. So zoning board of appeals, really quick, we're looking at currently 7 members that have 5-year terms. So we have a mismatch. So we're proposing in the code update to 7 members with 7-year terms. We have no current provision for alternate members. So we're going to put in a provision for 2 optional alternate members. Unlike the planning board, which is mandatory, this will be the town board's discretion. So it means that you also don't have to immediately start finding alternate members when this passes. There's also quite a few, there's an inconsistency in terms for the ZBA, primarily an alternation between zoning board of appeals and board of appeals. So we're going to tighten that up and simply go with zoning board of appeals. Any questions here? Next slide.
You're there.
All right. You read my mind. So in 2022, code was introduced to create the office of the zoning enforcement officer. I've talked to a lot of people about the whys and wherefores of why this was put in place. I'm not going to get into that, except to point out that When it went in, it created a lot of conflicts between the two roles. So the zoning enforcement officer, through the code, created a new office, gave the CEO, the inspection authority like the CEO, however, cannot issue permits or certificates of occupancy. That should be CFO, by the way. And it's also the way the role is described in our code is completely non-consistent with the municipal zoning administrator. I think Diana had a good question about that the last time I was presenting this. So there's a big mismatch between the municipal role and what we have in our code currently. The code enforcement officer in our code, by definition in 210-5, is the administrator of the zoning code. So we actually have, in effect, two administrators of the same code. So there's overlapping authority and there is segmented authority. So for instance, in site plan review, that's given to the CEO, whereas other elements of the code are given to the CEO. So this, of course, fortunately, we have never run into this problem because the same individual is currently the CEO and the CEO. However, at some point in the future, this is going to turn into a nightmare because you're going to have two individuals that have the authority to make decisions with no way to resolve between them. Okay, so what are we doing? The new proposed code is going to revert back to 2022, just prior to the implementation enactment of the ZEO. We are also going to add to that one provision that enables an acting CEO, which by a lot of accounts was the reason why the ZEO position was put in place. So this will give the town board the authority to, in the circumstance that our current CEO cannot perform their function for a certain amount of time, you can temporarily appoint an acting CEO. Next slide. Special use permits. So the first thing we're going to be doing is normalizing this with every other municipality in New York. We call it special use permit requirements. So we, in our code, we actually use the term conditional uses allowed by special permit. So we're just going to change the name to what everybody else uses. And in fact, the terminology that the planning board uses is special use permit, not conditional use needing a special permit. In addition, we're going to sort out and organize in special use permits. There's code for vacation resorts and campgrounds. However, the terms used in there are as follows: vacation resort, camp, cottage or cabin development, campground, campsite, cabin, and bungalow colonies. Some of those terms are defined, some are not. That has led to the whole section of code becoming open to very broad interpretation with very different applicable regulations. So the way we're going to deal with this is start with defining campground by, or rather, we're going to define campground by starting with the smallest unit, which is a camping unit. So think of this as the site on which you're going to do camping, or the site where your RV trailer is going to be. Then we're going to build that up into the definition of a camp, which is multiple camping units. And then finally, a campground, which is a camp plus some recreational facilities. Very straightforward. And the defining feature of all this is that camping units have no on-site septic. Meaning, if you're going to use the toilet, you're carrying it away yourself. So this makes it very simple for, the CEO to distinguish between applications. In other words, are we talking about something that is more like a resort, or is it like a campground? And this is really the point, is to make it really clear cut as to what is what. And then finally, we define vacation resort as a combination of camp, hotel, restaurant, recreational facilities, and so forth. So if you're going to combine all of these elements, it becomes a vacation resort. So now it's clear what it is, and we get to apply the correct regulations to the project that an applicant is bringing to us. Any questions on that? Yes.
So a lot of campgrounds, real campgrounds, they have a place for restrooms and showers.
Okay, so the septic condition is tied to the camping
Units, okay.
not to additional
The
facilities.
park, all right, thank
You want to address the 5G tower?
So back up one. So the last, in the current code, we don't have any accommodation for 5G antennas, which are pretty compact, and they can be placed on top of light poles or utility poles. So it makes the application and process a lot more complicated. So what we're going to do is just add a very quick definition into our type 1 in the code for telecommunications to make it a type 1 facility. So pretty minor change, but if we want any chance of 5G coming into Hurley, this is the way to do it. And they're low impact, low visual impact and stuff. So. Okay, site plan review, really simple here, title change. So we're going to move from site development plan approval to site plan review and approval. So really, site plan review is the term that's used in planning by everyone. So we're just simply normalizing our own code to be like everybody else's terminology. And then finally, we're going to strike the CEO as the named administrator and let the CEO become the named administrator of this section. That's it. Next slide. Height exceptions. So this I just simply put exactly what we're doing. The height exceptions code is from 30, 40 years ago, and was probably copied from a municipality that was much more city oriented. So it allowed for things like water tanks and penthouses and parapets. Of course, this has nothing to do with Hurley. So what we are doing is we're simply pre-listing what actually people in the town do on the roof of their homes in terms of what could be eligible for a height exception. And I'll leave it to you to read it. The only addition was to add the clause at the end there, which is to not add more than 6 feet to the height of building. And height of building, by the way, is a defined term as to how you compute that. And that's really to make sure that anything you're adding to the roof cannot be habitable.
I think on solar panels, that'll occupy more than 10% of your roof area, so that means.
This is just for the height, not the area.
Okay.
Okay, other minor changes. This is really just sort of a picking and choosing a couple examples of things in our code. There's a rewrite of co-partnership, which is sort of an unknown term. Instead, just simply put in what's actually used today, partnership and agency and so forth. Looked at all of the external referred code in our code and found 2 errors, both having to do with family daycare. I think somewhere along the last 30 years, the state changed their numbering of the social services code. So we simply updated ours to reflect what should actually be referenced. And then lots of typos, things like properly managers rather than properly. So, when we were talking about visual assessment, I had brought up an update to the official zoning map for the town. There's code, section 210-7 that essentially pulls that into the code. And that's this. There's a clause that we decided to add here that has to do with making sure we have the ability to update our zoning map without having to pass a local law to do it. Right? The big reason for this is that we are dependent on Ulster County and New York State for things like roads and road names, parcel boundaries. When those change, we really want to be able to update our own official zoning map. So the language there is to enable us to do so. All right, next slide. All right, table of use regulations. So this is what we currently have. The couple of items. First, there's going to be a reform. You'll see in a moment. We're reformatting everything to lay out a little better. This table of use regulations is currently 4 pages. The symbol for not permitted is undefined. You can see the symbols defined up there. We don't define what's not permitted, even though it is the dash that you see in the table. So that creates ambiguity. The usage category is very long and broad. You know, it's a lot for you to take in, and sort of mashes together general uses like campgrounds with government uses, with telecommunications facilities and so forth into general uses. In addition, short-term rental entry, when that got added, it got added as 2 rows, which creates some confusion because the line that actually says short-term rental doesn't have anything in the box. And it's only the line below it that has a separate reference that I'm sure went with it. It actually has the appropriate symbol. And then, of course, it lacks the current, lacks the uses that we're proposing, which is 80 years of gas. Next slide. All right, so the new table of use looks as follows. As you can see right up in the symbols legend, it defines what not permitted looks like and specifically highlighted grayed out, so it's really obvious as to what's not permitted. Categories include agricultural, government, and public utility. That really simplifies and shrinks the general uses category. And then finally, it does add uses such as ADU or guests. And then one additional one that has come up a few times, which is town uses not otherwise mentioned. So for instance, this just very recently came up with the work that Greenway is doing up at the transfer station. In our code, we define government offices, for instance, but we don't have a catch-all. So it's a government use, but we don't have a bucket for it. This is the bucket. Any questions?
Where are we getting best?
So we are adding best here to make it explicitly clear that for, well, you'll see it's for large scale best to make sure that it's not allowed. And we're adding new code that creates that use.
So it's not on this stuff.
No, I'm just showing the first page, right? So one of the other things too is in the reformat, the old table of uses 4 pages, this is now 3. That's the idea. All right. Next slide. So density control schedule. So again, not making any changes to the actual numbers here. It's really cleaning up some formatting errors and so forth. In this case, you can see up in the top legend, the formatting is completely broken. There's also some typos. The I1 industrial, it's really supposed to be light industrial. There's also for green space, it's a percent of coverage where it doesn't actually say that. And the same as districts, I've actually seen this firsthand where people are looking at the table, let's say historic, they're running their finger across R2 and then accidentally going to R1 and picking up the number there. So it just makes it a little more difficult. Next slide. So here, we're actually changing the orientation to portrait, which is what the orientation of every other page in our code is. Fixed all the broken formatting, cleaned up all the tables, the entries and so forth, and made all the appropriate changes that you see. Any questions?
Oh, that's nice. I hope you do.
Doing all that work, that's a lot.
Yes, please.
5G.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you're not done yet.
No, this is just,
This is next week.
provide everybody that I'm almost finished.
Yeah. So the 5G, I know there was a lot of dialogue about, well, and I noticed that one of the things that we didn't talk about then was the different categorization. I don't know what type of facility needs, so I just wanted to get an explanation.
So what type one is, it's the lowest of extra information and things that need to be submitted as part of an applicant's proposal to put that. So it goes type 1 to type 5.
Okay, so let me just ask, Mike, you remember when we had these debates around implementing type or accepting type?
Yeah, this is like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then what the 5G really was putting like little antennas on top of our telephone. You wouldn't need to have cables on it. Ellenville was the test run in this area. Rochester, the city, was a test run there. The test run in Ellenville failed. They took it out. Rochester, I'm not quite sure if they took it. And since that point, nothing else has come. I know that Woodside was like looking at the office, and they are discontinued.
So
Well, there's a lot of misconceptions about it because the fact that by having these antennas on top of poles, more or less, you wouldn't need cables then going into your house. And the fear was electromagnetic radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
That was a big thing.
It was a real big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things about the 5G antennas is that what you want to have are the small ones, the sub 10-foot ones. What you don't want is the 50-foot ones, because those need to put out a tremendous amount of energy to essentially increase the range.
So this code change will facilitate small.
Yes,
Is there a specific language in there that will eliminate the large?
can't do that, because we're just broadly covering public telecommunications.
Well, AT&T still has the small antennas on top of their telephone poles.
Sure.
There is somewhat of 5G in this area.
Yes, yeah. It's just whether or not we have, which is why I was asking about type.
Yep.
Type 1 and type.
Yeah. Good question.
Greg, my one question is the height variance that you're putting onto the buildings in reference to the additional 6 feet or less. So in Hurley specifically, we don't have ladder trucks because our homes and dwellings do not go above 37 feet. Once the 37 feet is met, now if you're adding 6 feet to that, potentially you're now putting us into a situation where we would have to go buy a ladder truck.
Okay.
If you not want to do that.
So your current code has no restriction.
Current
This is-
code states 37 feet.
Okay, so the 37 feet is still in place.
Right.
What the 6 feet is doing is putting a restriction on the height exception where there was none at the beginning.
But that's
So are we adding 6 feet to the 37 feet?
We are not. So the 37
That'll be
feet is
detailed.
still,
That's all I'm asking.
yeah.
Thank you. No 43 feet. Fine. What matter?
Yeah, in the end, for height wise, it's more restrictive than it currently is. The proposed is more restrictive. My pleasure. Just a quick, everybody's gonna get some links, and I'm just gonna, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but just so that everyone understands what you're gonna get. So you're gonna get, links to, all of the, new proposed code. And you're gonna get links to, for every, modified piece of code, a folder that has, a file that has the comparison between the old and the new. So that way you get both. So if you want to see it just as the new code, you can. And if you want to see it as sort of in a Delta format, you can see it that way.
Whatever he gets me.
Sign off on this.
Yeah. So Matt will update you on the process.
So basically, those presentations have now been presented with all the, recommended changes for this first amendment. What we are going to do is at the next meeting, there will be a resolution next week prior, the resolution will be to schedule an open, or to schedule the public hearing.
It's gonna be a public
make
hearing,
it-
the next
No.
one will be.
We're not doing a schedule.
Yeah, so you guys will get everything next week. So then at the following one, if you guys have any questions before we schedule the public hearing.
Yep.
Is there good way to get this on the website for everybody in the town to be able to see this?
Yes, Jeremy and I have talked, we're going to create a page that has all the links to all the presentations, all of the draft code, and all of the comparisons.
Presentations are now up in a section of the town board page, but we should probably separate your presentations out so they're all together.
Yeah, and I created a brand new share that's part of the website stuff with the NRI links.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you, Fred.
Thank you, guys. Really great work.
Right, the next presentation is gonna be what?
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, and what?
I don't know, but it'll be 2 hours.
And you will be alone.
I'll be out sick that night.
Thank you,
Very
Fred.
nice. We have the false alarm amendment on here, on the agenda. The false alarm amendment?
Right.
Oh, so, that wasn't supposed to be in there. I think what happened was. You did.
You passed
We did.
So this was a list that was old, that I think Samara was running from, even though. Get her to
No, that's good. I was gonna ask that, because I thought we already passed it.
You did.
We did pass it.
However, E-code will put it into our code sometime by 2027.
Oh, so we come up with the fortune.
Okay. All right, resolution. The first resolution is to establish a comprehensive plan, please. Yes. I made a motion to, that resolution. Is there a second? Any discussion? I just want to say something with, comprehensive plan committee. This is, right, this, what it was basically, what it was a comprehensive review committee. Now it's transpired. And what happened basically, a lot of these members here are from the CAC. We had our first meeting, Betsy Blair chaired the meeting there, going through it. And, the enthusiasm I found was amazing, truly amazing. You know, we actually have 9 people on the committee, and that's how many came. The first meeting, so this is the first with, Hurley.
We do not have a dedicated page for this committee yet on the website, but I can get
You
one.
have a,
I can get one created tomorrow.
You have a CRC page, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Just switch over.
We'll make it work. Sure.
So the 9 people, we had is Cindy Bishop, Betsy Blair, Sidney Glass, Karen Gill, Patty Goodman, Debbie Cosa, Joan Passion, Lisa Cole, and Greg catch-all. It was such, no, the first meeting was great. Okay, I make a motion. I made, any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
This next one, we don't have in the packet, this zoning thing.
Oh, that's not going, that's the next.
That's the next one.
So we're killing that off? Okay,
What's that at?
Next.
done.
Okay, the next one is the 2026 highway expenditure agreement, highway law, section 284.
So, I'll motion this one.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll second, all right, so Diana seconded, discussion.
Yes.
All right, Michael, you're up.
What?
The 284.
This is a 284.
Yes, Michael, my first question is just math related. So I don't have it right in front of me.
Right here.
So, perfect. So, the first page,
Says 270,000.
yeah, it should be 305,600. Why?
Because that's what the budget is, 270,000.
Okay.
And we have funds and chips that we will also utilize. But this is not written in stone. This is a proposal. We can change it any time. I would come to the board and say, we have to update this. We could find another road that's falling apart that's got issues.
Right,
So
but I mean, just so that we approve what, the math is correct on what we approve, we can always amend at.
I can't put any more in there than what's in the budget.
So then we can't say that we're gonna spend.
No, but I think what is missing is that you have funds to the tune of $35,000.
Yeah, which everybody's gotten a copy of that letter from the DOT, correct?
So that's
Yeah.
the issue. That's the difference.
Yeah.
But
When did you get that letter, Mike? DOT.
2 weeks ago.
Don't have
Then
it.
we
You don't
change
have
the
it.
sum to. Instead of 270, what's in the
Yeah,
book?
remember the letter I showed you, we have rollover funds, we have like 7,000 from 2 years ago, and then we have more from last year. So we can utilize those along with the 270,000 that's budgeted for this year.
you need to include in this, well, it's an agreement, but you need to just state somewhere.
You know, the other money's already been budgeted, so that you didn't budget that money, that was already budgeted for us in past ones, so if I put it in there,
No. So in the preamble, you need to say that there is a $35,000 carry. Right. Or rollover. Because that's why the math isn't working.
or I can just subtract some of the roads in there and
No.
like I said, this is a flowing document, it can be changed anytime, it's just to give you an idea of what we're gonna be doing.
But at least, let's get the math correct.
Yeah, just on the first pass, and then we can do amendments, that's no problem.
I've never put a rollover in before.
You've always had, you over there 284, that, where you actually.
Well, we used to have $300,000 every year. It's been $300,000 since I was supervisor in 2020, in 2006. So rollovers are just something that the state provides us a letter so that if you have, but if I put something in there that's a rollover, it's not in the budget. So you budgeted $270,000.
But that's fine.
That's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, but.
No, but I can't put rollover in that budget because it wasn't budgeted. It was already budgeted previously. And this is not, it's not part of our budget. It's rollover funds that we have to submit to get reimbursed on. It's not part of our budget.
For me, I'm uncomfortable to approve 305 if we're only budgeted 270 and we're not willing to say that we have a rollover.
There's a 35 come from.
Why can't we say like the deficit, the difference there will be.
Because I'll cut it down so that it's equal to 270,000 then,
But then you're gonna cut back some of these services now.
correct? Because I can't,
Matt, what do you?
if they don't have a budget, they can take some of that rollover away from us.
Is 270 and for town highways that are intended.
What legal basis do you have to just?
Well, this is just a breakdown of the real. And is that the sum of 270 shall be set aside to be expended for permanent improvements. And, you know, it just, there was no clarity saying that the permanent improvements that are intended to happen, why they equal $35,000 more than what is being set aside.
And again, if they decide in this budget, yes,
You say they in talking the state?
the state, if they decide to pull some of our rollover funding, I'll just cut the roads back so that it equals to 270 because nothing's ever given until the state budget stops. We're hoping that we get more money for state aid. And if that's the case, then
There is a bill in the state legislature right now to increase just money.
about 250 million across the town, but we don't, until they adopt the budget, we have no idea. So the 284 is strictly for what the budget is, what you cast as a budget.
But last year, the state budget passed, last year, the state budget passed on June 1st. Yet the 284 didn't reflect any kind of rollover.
No, I think 300,000 and
300,000.
284 is whatever we
Yeah, that
budgeted
is
for this year.
rollover.
It's nothing to do with the state.
No, I know that, but I'm saying basically is that there is 35,000 difference from what was budgeted and what has been spent on this thing. So we had to cover that 35,000 somewhere.
So how, just make a comment how we're gonna cover that.
So I'll cut down a couple of the roads and then we put 270,000. Then
But that's not.
if we do get the rollover, I'll come back to you and say,
Yeah, well, that's.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's fine.
just know that, you know, legally, as of May 1st, I'm not allowed to expend any monies out of the repair budget. So I don't know, did you get 3 signatures on the ones that?
We got them all. And they-
All right, so I'll amend it and then you can sign that one too.
All right, okay.
And it doesn't have to be done by resolution, it's just gotta be signed.
Now, things are also on Joyce Lane, that is going to be found out.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to, we don't have the capabilities to do the wings and the speed humps.
Now, okay, so where's that money, what's the money from, like Joyce Lane to finish up the speed bumps and to repay, where's that coming from?
From the 284 to 207, it's right on the top.
Oh, it's estimated at 110.
Yeah, they
Have
told,
somebody else do it.
they told me to, you know, haven't gotten the quotes yet, but I got prices for, asphalt on a Monday, a week and a half ago. And on a Friday, I got updates that liquid asphalt went up and, it went up $8 a ton on blacktop. We're in crazy times here. So,
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
now they're saying that commodities are gonna go up 16%, you know, our fuel costs. I just gotta put our fuel usage to the OGS today. We used approximately 15,000 gallons of fuel last year. They haven't set the price yet this year. We're waiting to see what that's gonna be. Salt, we put our usage in for our salt estimates at OGS. We don't get that back till August. I have no budget left to buy salt. And if I were to buy salt now, I'd have to pay a 15% premium. But I think that might still be cheaper than what the OGS is gonna come in. So, you know, we're in a little bit of pickle there.
Yeah. You know, I agree with you, like, how this is happening, but like, I just looked at the, online now. It was 5%, the asphalt that went up last week, went up like another percentage, 2% this week. They're just going up, just,
Parts has gone up like 17 to 20%. We had to buy a simple sensor for a truck for a fuel rack. It was $280. I mean, it's just crazy. Something that used to cost $60 or $70. It's gone up fourfold. So, you know, while I'm up here, if you want, I'll talk a little bit about the surplusing of the wheel loader too.
that's the last resolution.
Well, you had to vote on this one. Yeah, we voted, so they have to.
They have to deal with this thing first.
So the the resolution needs to be amended into that side.
No, he's gonna take that.
I
He's
mean,
gonna
take
take
out
out
35,000.
35,000.
Yes, we just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, the other.
So,
The 284 is a simple work in progress that we amend all the time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then,
If I could just talk briefly about that, so that you're looking down the declaration for the surplus. We've been talking with the crew, and we're trying to reduce costs in the long haul. We have a 2021 rack truck that we bought, which is a rack body dump with a convoy flow through lift gate, and we don't really use it that much anymore. So we're talking about surplusing that also and buying an F600 with a snatch and go, I think they call it, where you can put different bodies on it and put a small wing plow on it, so they don't have to have big trucks going out. We're trying to reduce costs in the long haul for our power trucks and for our trucks that we should construction. So we think that if we take the money that we get for the 544 John Deere, which is a 91, 35 years old, and the transmission cord went out, and one more breakdown, it's just not worth fixing it. But we think we can get a halfway decent dollar for it, and then if we sell also surplus for 2021 rack body gun, that we can put that money towards getting that 600 with a plow and wing on it.
You think you can get $50,000 for that rack truck?
I think so.
I mean, it's the one that was fairly new vehicle, that's probably 40 years old.
Yeah. We don't utilize it that much
What's the limit?
because we used to use it more, now we don't. Things are changing.
I don't know what it's used for, what's a rack truck used for?
They replaced one that was there already, and they used to cart signs around and whatnot. We're changing our plan. We're actually going to try to get a enclosed trailer to store a lot of that stuff in, so we don't have to put it in the rack truck anymore. Everything's stored right in the trailer. We're making changes to try to save money. I can get that for you, but I
No, I do remember.
Just curious.
I think it was 75,000.
don't know off the top of my head. I can go in my emails and check to see what the quote was. But I think, it's only got 20,000 miles on it. I think that it's got original tires on it. It's in good shape. And I think we get the money for it. I'll ask the auctioneer to check the thing. Like I said, we're going ahead. Instead of buying a $250,000 truck, we might be able to get away with a $140,000 truck. So I'm looking
So
to
you
reduce
want-
costs.
so we could just approve this resolution.
284.
Yeah,
So can we just approve the first resolution?
So we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
The correction, with the correction.
Yeah.
There's no correction on here, right?
So
We
I'll
take-
motion with amended, as amended.
What are we
And
amending?
I'll second, Diana
The
second.
resolution for the
This is-
284.
The resolution 284, we're going to approve with the agreement that the 284 will be amended.
It's only 270,000.
Instead of 305,000.
So you're gonna amend the contract that is with it, which is not amending the resolution at all. The resolution is not amended, but you want to amend the contract.
The resolution approves.
One.
You want. So in the contract, what are we amending?
What is the?
Well, there's nothing here, but things that we are actually the warrant coming through here doesn't really apply to exactly what's in budget. It's a 200% down.
You can say the warrant is gonna be amended to expend 270,000
Gotcha.
to match what's budgeted.
So where are we putting this?
For permanent.
Well, you're not, it's not in here at
It's
all.
not in the resolution at all.
Mike's gonna come back with a 284 that shows 270,000. And then if, when we do get some money back in, we then pick up the other.
Right, we'll just amend it.
Okay.
I don't think that I'll double check, but I don't think the 284 needs a resolution. I think it just needs signatures. But I'll double check on that.
Okay.
You know that?
Well, the 284 here has nothing to do with, doesn't say money at all.
Right, there's no money in here
Just
whatsoever.
allowing, basically authorizing the supervisor to do that.
Yeah, you're authorizing me to spend the money that you've already budgeted.
So vote? Yeah. You ready to vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mike, did you take this?
And then you wanna do the other one?
Copy. Okay, Lynn?
You wanna do this one too, you said? Oh, that's-
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we approve that, right?
Those were the surplus.
Do the surplus?
The surplus.
Yeah. All right.
I've got other resolution authorizing declaration of surplus property, J 544E wheel loader. Okay.
I'll second it.
I have a question. Is this the same vehicle we're talking about?
Yeah.
No.
No,
this
no,
is
no,
a
no,
no,
1990.
this is
1991. This is a different
But
one.
he's gonna surplus both. of them. We didn't get the-
Do you look at the now
Oh, so
therefore?
this is not the same one
No,
that
this
we
is the
just
19
talked about.
We talked, we did mention, you mentioned.
Well, you mentioned it, but
1991.
this is how, this is the 91.
So we're not getting 50 grand for this.
Email before any vote, so if anyone has any questions or anything, now is the time to further discuss this
Yeah,
resolution.
so we're discussing it separately, correct? The 2021 will come up later.
Yes.
Right now, we're talking about 1991.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little more about that 1991?
Oh, yes.
It's 35 years old.
Just, it's basically a shock, right?
Well, 1991 was bought in 1991. The transmission cooler went on. We did use it last year for loading stone out of the church when we were doing Joy's Lane. But we had to be careful because the transmission will heat up, and that's one of the weakest links on the thing. It's just not worth putting the money in to replace the transmission cooler. Just,
How much think you're gonna get for this? And you're
no.
Probably about 30,000.
30K?
It's worth $30,000.
Wow.
It could bring that much. I'd be surprised if it did, but it could.
Would it be?
Here's a 30,000 for,
Just out
24.
of curiosity, what did it cost brand new?
Hmm?
What did it cost brand new?
This is
Yeah,
1991.
1991.
Have I been 30,000 then?
No, but it probably, I mean, our new wheel loader that we bought, the Komatsu that we bought, I think we paid 270 for it 3 or 4 years ago.
This is 1991.
1991.
So this one back then was
60,000.
probably $80,000.
Not a good one.
I mean, we should get a decent price for it.
I'm sorry.
Like I said, we're just trying to get rid of old equipment and we were putting in a reduced rate.
Placing this with something?
No, backhoe.
The
Yeah, we
back,
bought the
we already.
backhoe.
Okay.
So would this go into the same fund that the backhoe, to offset the cost of the backhoe? Same, would this go to the same budget line to offset the cost of the backhoe?
Hope so.
You upset something, so you go into general fund.
Just the general fund?
Well, 3H was already had money in it. We still have to go over 3H to find out exactly what fund we have. But again, like I said, we're trying to upgrade our equipment.
Got it.
This past year, we've been slammed. We had a 2018 Dodge that we had to put almost $20,000 into it, which is crazy.
Okay.
So it's gonna stop.
Any more discussions?
No.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Michael.
To explain more as we go, what we're planning on doing, but, everything that we do up there is trying to save money and make our equipment more reliable so we don't have the breakdowns. We've got a couple of problem trucks that we're trying to get through with this. So.
Okay, the next one, resolution establishing stipends for the register and deputy register duties related to death certificate processing.
Your motion on that?
I'm motioning that. For a second. The discussion is that, we are going to be given a total of $2,000, $1,000 for the, register and $1,000 for the deputy, in 4 equal payments of $250 every quarter. Coming through there.
Can we add that it's only for this year?
Only this year so far,
2026?
yeah. And next year we
No, we got to
will.
put that in.
Right, this is only, to say,
Doesn't say anything about.
This is going for 2020.
Yeah, the stipend.
I would
should-
respect,
Well, a stipend, hold on a second.
No, but it should specify that it's for what?
it's not in the budget in 2026.
I'll amend that.
Something very different is in the budget for 2026. And I would respectfully ask you to delay this till the next meeting because we had other things to take care of and I would wanted to present you with the rest of the information before you made this decision.
I have information here.
Well, everybody else doesn't have it.
Well, I think we should deal with this right now. I have over here, all the death certificates in 2026.
Yeah, but 3 months.
Yeah, we settled this, right?
Well, it's not, it's also not properly, the registrar has duties of, it's not just death certificates, it's also birth certificates.
But death certificate is the only one that the protocol.
Now, this
says.
is, that's not correct, first of all, but second of all, the wording is satisfactory because it does say for duties associated with registrar services.
So it's, you could leave out death certificate, I suppose. And I would, and I think that it's, should be my discretion as to what the deputy registrar gets, depending upon
Well,
what the flow of the
we
work
have-
is.
yeah, we have discussed this in session many times. I
We-
have there, I have one second. I have here, the death certificates that's been, assigned, that you have signed, and death certificate signed by the deputy. And,
I just signed 15 of them yesterday.
yeah, you signed 15 of them yesterday that Stephanie wrote up. They were on Stephanie's desk being took and
Yeah, well, I
signed
was-
up. Hold on a second, please. All right, Stephanie wrote up the death certificate. She was gonna sign it. Before she signed it, you took that and signed it.
I've been doing most of them.
Well, according to here, according to this thing over here, it seems like it, she's been doing a little more than you have. I can pass this around to take a look at it.
She might not be the deputy registrar anymore either. And this, actually is also,
We approved her to be the deputy registrar of it.
That's the registrar.
you're also changing the organizational minutes and you're reducing my pay, which might be a
How are we
cycle.
reducing it now? First page there. is
I'm
the,
reducing the pay of the town clerk. Excuse me, not necessarily. I mean, you should think about it as an office in general, not just the person involved. I just would like you to, I'd like to give you with all the information for everybody to have and vote on it in 2 weeks.
No, I would agree now. We have discussed it for 3 months already. I don't want to put up on it. We have a good handle on it.
What's the alternative?
0.
No,
What else is the alternative?
the alternative is what the law allows and stipulates.
As long as we stipulate, basically give you a stipend, that suffices.
Right, 'cause-
Discretion, correct, Matt? We can.
Yes, you can. The default is the payment for thing, but it is at your discretion to do it right there.
So starting at the beginning of last year until now, there's a whole bunch of vouchers that we need to be signed.
All right. I make a motion to accept.
Very much.
Any further discussion? Then? All right. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, resolution is to hire Jacob Durain as a temporary groundskeeper. We discussed this, last month.
Go ahead, motion.
Okay, make a motion to accept the resolution to hire Jacob Durain as a temporary groundskeeper. We, I'm sorry, what?
Maximum of.
Is breaking something out?
Yeah, what's the?
Right at this point right now, what they're doing right now, both groundskeepers right now are working at the old cemetery, and there are rail fences that they're putting up. Once the rail fence is put up, then he's terminated. Actually, terminated. So he's for being,
Like, there's no other word.
As needed.
as what, right, as needed.
With
So
a,
you have a maximum of, and you have a.
yeah, he wants to know how many hours are you putting
Right.
Well,
And what's in the budget?
hours per month, that would.
Non less, but
It's, well, this is part of 1620.4, which is building a good thing. We just put it in right now in that aspect of the building. There is another fund line for this in this contingency. All right, to use that, this money also, but it's my being, we just put it at 16.24 because we want to get this done. You know, this is a project that's been going on for 2 years. And so like,
1620.1.
1620.4.
Yeah, that's in
It's in
the
there.
amendment. I mean, in the resolution, but.
I'm looking at the budget.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm looking at the budget.
Would be 1620.1.
Is it-
That's
One
what-
is a
It would be a
salary.
personnel line, not a,
Personal. line.
yeah, not a contractual line.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
And
And,
maximum hours?
well, to me, the maximum hours would be when it's done. And I, you know, I assumed in the beginning, it would be about like 15, 20 hours. And I think that's what it's gonna be. I don't know. It's labor intensive, obviously.
Well, how many hours a week does he have?
He already had, today is Monday, Tuesday, so thanks for talking.
How many
That's
hours a
16
day?
hours.
4 hours a day.
He's working with.
So,
that.
so he's
working
doing,
with
so he's
that.
doing 20
What
hours
about when
max a week.
Patrick's not working on this? Like tomorrow,
It should-
he's not gonna work on this.
No, in other words, the work for this week is done on this thing. They're gonna start again on, Monday, Tuesday. And I believe by Tuesday, they should be done. Because they've done 2 days work so far.
So
And
8
they-
hours so far.
Yeah, and I think
So
another 8,
16
I
hours.
think another 8,
So-
I think a max of 20 hours.
I was gonna say, so let's say this next.
20 hours. They should. Now, what I'd like to do also with them, as we go further in, we could be a per diem worker also. For example, if we need someone at the transfer station.
But that's not.
I know that, I know, but I'm saying that we could utilize that as a per diem worker also.
Well, this is over.
My other question is, why are we doing a groundskeeper? Wouldn't this be more of a laborer? Why do we?
Because that's what we're paying, Patrick, the same thing.
Okay, but that doesn't mean we have to pay.
You pay Patrick more?
You know, Patrick gets paid 22 an hour. And so my feeling is that this is the same kind of job he's doing. They both should have the same pay, do the same equal work.
So then if we used him, well, we
If we use somewhere-
discussed,
Yeah, if you use him somewhere else, whatever that pay is for that's what you get in that sense. You know, right now, he's working, he is doing in the sense the same work as Patrick.
But the only thing before you is this temporary
Right.
job.
For 20
Not-
hours.
If
20
you guys
hours,
are gonna
20
use him at another future date, that's gonna be addressed at another time.
So I'm saying with a maximum of 20 hours.
Yeah,
I would say.
thank you.
All right, so then the motion is to approve the
Well,
resolution with the
As
two
amended.
amendments.
Two amendments.
One, enacting 20 hours, you're changing the fund line to a 1620.1. If you have a second to approve as amended.
yeah, he.
Yeah,
All right, okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next one is accepting a bid for surplus by a charger through Auctions International. We have we have an old electric vehicle charger, EV charger, that, we had replaced. It's a phase one. We have the class one, we have a class two. Class one takes like 11 hours fully charged. The class two we have right now is like 4 hours. So, the intention was the beginning that we use that class one to the park. I said up there, but I think 11 hours is, you know, too long. You know?
Park's not open for 11 hours.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing though, we're gonna pay for installation, drawing wise and so forth. And, I don't think it's worth it. The thing is though, like, in other words, class two we have right now, came out of the grant.
Well, it's definitely coming on the weekends.
Take it up.
And we're making money.
Because I'm the
Right,
one
and
comes
we'll
in
make, well, put this.
I know you-
to do
This is
that.
the second time I've got auction. The first time we got $40 million. And I think we'll believe it. And I put it back to like 500, to 380.
So the new truck that you have, what are the costs? What pays you the truck?
It's like so far, the only ones using the chargers is town.
Okay.
That's
And
all
one
right.
other person.
Good odds.
I think Robert's
Yeah, we
using.
wind up, we get checks for
Oh,
$2,041.
$1,000 a month on that.
I saw somebody using it the other day.
No.
Somebody was using it over the weekend. Sunday.
Oh, all right, great.
I think Robert was using it.
Well,
Because I was here on Sunday
Only
doing
got
a
on
marriage
the
certificate.
wall with, the charge point. We finally sent it for the elders, $2,000, and now we're getting $2, $2, so like, hey, that's the thing, it's just the fact that, it's free.
Yeah, right. And we do our own town stuff.
Well, anybody wants to talk, I had to talk. All right, Up to voting, any
Yes.
further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded this one?
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Great.
All right, now we do the bench, what are we doing?
We're gonna have to, some of that.
That's not a resolution.
No.
So then I'm going to.
Let me actually, let's just, yeah, the bench.
I don't
Yeah,
think there's any service.
All right, so I'm gonna send it back.
I don't think you have any. I think, well, I think the description will forward to if they still give us an extension.
Well, it's Amazon.
Return.
It's Amazon and Home Depot, I can guarantee they will not.
Right, and it doesn't matter, if the realtor doesn't want it.
Yeah.
No, you have to, they want to count it, because these are the door counts. Okay. So that
All right, so the second discussion is the early hours of community center update.
This is what you sent me.
We had a meeting with, the library, with, the library lawyer, Richard Conversa, his name is, Jeff Conversa, rather. And we met with the, Janet Powell and, David, all right, board president, more or less, and what it is basically is that we want to share driveway. And, you know, there's a lot of issues involved with, so as it is right now, the option we have is the same thing we had with the two driveways.
So not using the shared driveway.
Well,
Well, we have a meeting on Thursday.
Thursday,
night
but here's the thing.
The board is the one has.
right.
Haven't yet decided.
Shannon, like, I told Shannon today, the thing is though, that what we want to do basically is, the idea is to, do that, I think. Shannon just gave me a price of, 200 Seacoast, Seacoast, and to repay the entire driveway, to dig it out, rebuild and so forth, for $55,000.
I told you, I had to look at the estimate.
But that idea, right, so she did.
I got the money was on it.
Yeah, so $55,000, I'm looking at this way, that we're putting in two virgin driveways here, starting with like digging it up, put a subsoil on it, and then a sublayer, then another layer, and then some blacktop. It might be more than 55,000. You know, so like, we have to figure out exactly like, you know, how much that's gonna cost it if it's worthwhile, but the way it was described to us, how it was being done, I thought repaving the library, the over 100,000, which is more than we have allotted, so you have to figure this out and go back. The good thing about this whole thing is that it could be done, this is the last instruction, if it's paving. So we can always revisit the idea of this and we can get started with this thing. I got an award letter from Rockefeller Philanthropy that on May 11th, they sent a check out for $1 million, $50,000.
Okay.
So, added to what we already have is 1.425 million. Yeah, right now. The total cost of the project is gonna be about 1.548. It's like 60,000 short, and we actually have $100,000 for the side. So,
That's what we got. Yeah.
right. But the thing is, that there's a healthy containable thing, but you know, it's it all. So it may be this way. I know that. So basically is that,
So we don't know yet which way we're going with the driveway.
not yet. We're planning on the first option, which is the original one. The only thing we're doing right now is fix the egress and ingress. The ingress is gonna be on the library side, the egress is gonna be on the
Tree side.
The black walnut tree stays for
The
that.
black walnut tree stays, it's gonna stay. However, that is being done by, you know, putting in the, parking lot back there, putting in the septic, the leach field, we don't know.
Well, what did Jordan say? Did he give you the report?
And he gave the report was that tree was very healthy.
Right,
Now,
right, but he also never, he said he would give it what kind of threat it might be to that tree. He wrote in that proposition that he would give it an analysis of what the threat to the tree would be.
Yes.
So what did he say?
The threat, well, thing is though that, the way the tree is based, the black walnut tree, is a unique tree, it tillers. Goes to the tiller tip, and the roots to the tiller on the opposite side, the back. Well, the tiller is hanging over our property. The roots are in the next door neighbor's property. So, however, the other tiller that's in the neighbor's property is hanging where is here. Now, what's not basically is when we put in the the parking lot and the septic tank, so forth, then they remove it. Regardless of whether the tree is there or not. We're not gonna remove it. If the tree is cut down, for example.
Did you recommend cutting it back a little bit?
We are gonna cut it back. We definitely cut it back, and we're also projecting a cable. So the three pillars stay intact if we have this environment. I am recommending one way or the other that we trim the lawn tree on the outside, more or less, because we don't want those walnuts in any of our cars. So we're gonna do that.
And even the leaves, you don't want the leaves to sit on the cars.
Stains. So like we are gonna cut back on this side. And you know something, we don't know. If the tree, put it this way, if we cut the tree down, we grind the stump, but the roots still remain. You know, either way. So I think that's the best of both worlds, maybe. You know, we save the tree, and we comply with the Public Preservation Committee. Now, one of the things that we're looking at right now that might change a little bit is that we are raising the entire property 2 feet of fill. And we're doing something, we're plant that, at the ADA entrance as opposed to a wheelchair. So that might be something we're looking at right now. In other words, at this point, we're gonna raise it like 133 inches.
Wow.
So that might, you know, that might give it a little bit more than this.
Oh, it's, okay.
We're low.
Sits up.
Okay.
And, yeah, and then what we're gonna do also, placate the, our neighbor to the left there, Angela, or walking up, or Mary, you remember, even if our screen, we're gonna screen those off, with the tree and bush on the side, so it's screen also. Hopefully, hope all will be
So
happy.
they're gonna start, they're gonna start dating?
After we sign the contract, after I get the $1 million.
Oh, so can I ask you what the time frame is for that, Mike? We have to
Yeah,
arrange to
well,
remove the files?
we'd like to start, you know, if the check comes in tomorrow, I sign the contract tomorrow, we'll start the next day.
We have-
ready to start, they don't have other.
He wants to start,
Okay.
his goal is to start on May
There will come stuff in there.
And yes, and the length of the project is gonna be, probably Thanksgiving. One thing also, just let you know, Harold,
Castellano, he resigned.
No, he didn't resign, he retired.
Oh, oh.
He retired.
It's not the project.
That the project is okay,
Oh,
because
it's not a project manager.
it'll be Frank Dunn and myself.
Oh, God.
I hope he's saying, "Oh, God, Frank Dunn," that is me. No,
That just came right out.
I know that. Thanks for your comment. No, I'm just saying that what it is, Frank's not will observe, will look at all the change orders and he's an architect. And then he'll tell me to sign it. In that sense, so like, we'll go from there. You know, and Frank has said that he will be the volunteer project manager. Russ Gouliak, for the year, he was a project manager on the Mullen side.
Okay.
So we've been dealing with them, it's like, and
Project manager.
project on this construction side too.
So in addition, Mike,
Go ahead.
I know you said that Patrick's a little busy with the fence over there. But we need to bring all those files down from the upstairs to the downstairs and get them together to transfer them to the Ulster County Hall of Records before they, you know.
Oh, and by the way, also, the second shed that's there is not in good shape either. I mean, it's better than the first one that we put down, but the bottom is corroded. And if you lift it up, I feel it's gonna break in half. So we're gonna destroy it and, if I didn't want any books,
They're not.
Not a books,
But they're not gonna take the edge. Is that-
not all of them, not all of them. Okay. So what I'm gonna do basically, we're gonna take the books to the transfer station. They have a library.
Yeah.
Right, good idea. And, get them that.
Yeah, I told them that.
Or even take stepping like this, I can just something.
Put it
in the book.
Sum it up, is, you know, he probably doesn't want 500 books.
Well,
I don't know.
they can store it somewhere behind the desk. All right, okay, all right. We finished with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Commemorating the 250th anniversary of the Independence Day, we want to do that. suggestion made that we do something on Memorial Lake. That wanted to do.
Yeah,
Or do
yes.
you?
Well, that's only 2 weeks away, though. Like,
Okay.
you know, you didn't like, give yourself any much time to do
I
that.
know. I'm just thinking that there are.
We could do it early day. Yeah, we could do it on early day
18.
of October.
Yeah, I know.
When, isn't that when?
All right, we could do
Isn't
it.
that what,
We could do that.
yeah, I don't know if we could do something in 2 weeks.
Well, not 2 weeks. July
Memorial
4th.
Day, is 2 weeks.
No, I know, but I'm saying, we do something on July 4th.
No,
Okay.
No, it's a holiday, it's a Saturday this year, like,
We
nobody's
get,
gonna,
we
nobody's
mentioned,
gonna
we
be.
do that, basically, I think there's more than parade, but this is going on. And by the way, more than parade, is being set, and, kudos to, Samara Janine, who is the organizer. And also, welcome to Hurley Day, also, kudos to Wendy.
Right.
You know, Wendy is in charge of the Hurley Day, Hurley Day festivities, and, it's taking shape.
What do you think, Wendy? Can we incorporate the 250th anniversary on for an early day?
Sure.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you would do with it.
We can
Kevin
definitely
Banners
try.
is 250.
Yeah, we can try. Sounds great.
Oh, and by the way, and John's not here, we're getting a $5,000 grant for hero
Yeah,
banners. And we're gonna do, right, and we're getting, and what we're gonna do basically is we are going to research, like, now these are vets, not necessarily World War II vets, COVID vets, it's just vets, period.
All
And,
that.
and what we're gonna do is
Oh, it's
we're
a lot of
locating, and I did some investigation, but one of the things that, we were told at last meeting, you can't put it on 209, you can't put it on 28. Yet down on Ellenville, they have it on 209.
Oh,
They have that.
Well, it might be though, because they don't have a 55-mile
Speed limit's probably 30.
Yeah, they have it on Main Street.
It's on Main Street.
209. You didn't ask for 75.
Nobody's gonna be able to read them, they're driving too fast.
No,
It's,
I'm
it's
just saying-
those,
Yeah, I'm just saying the fact is that, we have the precedence, and so we know.
it's those banners with the individual pictures and
Yeah,
names, right?
yeah, they have them in Kingston.
All over other places.
You want Hurley Day, you want, yeah, Hurley Day. All right.
You don't have time to do it for Memorial Day.
No, it's okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, site plan application for a greenway at the train station, we're gonna hold up on that, because that's part of the grant. We have a food truck in that, sitting somewhere out, waiting for, gotta wait for the, budget to pass first of all.
Oh, okay.
What are we waiting for?
All right, now, the next thing is the $1,000 donation for the Heritage Society. We got to talk about that.
Now, Jeremy, did you have a chance to look?
I emailed you and Samara what I found. It looks like the only substantial, let me pull my email up in
We
front.
gave him, 24.
24.
We gave him 2,000. We gave 2,000.
Right, because it was 2 seconds.
Right. I went back through our minutes that go back to 2007, and I couldn't find any other large donations in that period.
It was,
50th anniversary.
historical.
It was their 50th
anniversary.
And I think we did it twice that year. It was
And
2000.
we gave another 1,000.
Because
Yes.
they get 1,000 every year.
Right, but that's quick. We can't find that 1,000 every year.
We didn't pay them anything.
You know, like Jeremy went back, looked at it. I looked at it also, so going back. And I don't, I'm on the board since 2017, and I don't recall us giving $1,000 there. I know that, the historical society said that we have given $1,000. So, I'll be very honest with you that, they do a lot.
Yeah, as I said, they
They
do a lot, for, you
And I
know,
think that's giving them $1,000.
absolutely.
You know, I
Where are you
mean,
taking that from?
contingency fund or something, celebration.
Celebration.
Yeah.
Take it to
Historians budget?
They do a lot. They do a lot. It's a big, yeah, I'm just saying, I know.
They get
I'm just saying,
donations.
they do
Yes,
so
yes,
much.
you have the resolution at the next meeting. that's all.
Yeah, I'm just saying, they do so
That's
much.
a good
So they promote, things that they do, tours, so forth. I'm part of this, now, $1,000.
500. I don't know.
I don't need to do that kind of thing. Let's discuss it. We'll have discussion on that, the next time, the next time, we'll goes on. And hopefully like,
I was just thinking, who's gonna say the next one?
all right. So we're gonna just table this.
Let me just get some clarity. So you were saying that we could take this over the celebration.
We can take out a celebration.
right, but that doesn't include anything that's been spent for Memorial Day.
Oh, this is.
Memorial Day is- Right,
And
that's
this would be
the,
another day too, right?
well, as of now, Hurley Day's gonna, I don't know what will be going.
Well, the thing is, John is going around right now, getting donations for the early day. The biggest expense we're gonna have there is WDS.
And he got that, right, and he got that.
We're getting it, we're possibly getting that grant.
I just wanted to be clear on where you said celebration, and I just want to make sure.
Yes.
It's still budget that.
All right. I'm done.
Excellent.
Anything you want? Oh, by the way,
Excellent.
one last thing.
We have executive session,
Yeah, we
we're
have
not
executive
done yet.
Yeah.
It's not,
Executive is
if
short.
it's not on the agenda, it's not. Where? Where is it on the agenda?
Where it says public comment,
At the bottom.
Yeah, they didn't put a number next to it.
They didn't write.
Right, they didn't write executive session.
But it's, that's what this is.
Or a number.
It's real quick, Real quick.
really quick.
That's what you said the last time.
And it was quick.
Of course, it's not-
Yeah, all right.
Half an hour is quick.
I motion to open public comment number 2.
Second.
All in
Wait,
favor?
hold on a second. Wait, I was gonna say something. Diana,
But the-
by the senior care,
Yes.
so forth, I just want to tell you something, the amount of enthusiasm we have people.
Oh, I know.
Lots
They're
of
coming-
people.
Oh, I know, they're coming to me like
And a
crazy.
lot of positive
Yes.
feedback.
And I've been hearing a lot from Kingston.
Yeah.
Coming to, so the thing
Well,
is,
because the Hurley Senior, is not limited to Hurley people, so like we had 83 people at the meeting last week.
right, so
And
I
some
would
other
like to
people-
call for me. I said,
No, I'm
let's do that.
reaching out to them to find out, do they want daytime meetings, do they want nighttime?
Yeah, I think
I thought
that's,
it'd be a Monday, because it's like.
okay, all right. All right, good. Yeah, of course. All right, so, I make a motion to open a public comment number 2. I second it. So another second.
Greg always says
I,
that.
I.
And Wendy wants to speak.
Ernie, go ahead.
Come on.
11.
Is that you guys are right here? Wendy Trojak, 37 Arnold Drive. I just want to bring to the board that I am the shop steward for the town, the general unit. And the overall morale for the employees in the building is not good. There's been some confusion in regards to the status of the contract. When we sat down at the meeting, it was stated that we were going to go to mediation. And it seems like that wasn't understood by the entire negotiating team on the town side. So weeks went on. I got an email from Mike Kutsky, who is our union representative. And I want to say this was back in like the beginning of February, that we are looking at 6 to 8 months to get on a list. So I took it upon myself to speak to Mike Kutsky and explain to him that that's not acceptable to the employees. The last time that the employees in the town hall got a raise was last year, and that was after fighting or negotiating. So we came to the conclusion that we would go back to the town and we would ask for another meeting, and that's what's in the works.
But we have that coming through. And the thing is, I just, I've spoken to Mike Richardson about our negotiating side here. He sent an MOA.
Yep.
But it was incorrect.
Correct.
So it was sent back to him to update the MOA. We will then, once it comes. Now, the thing is, though, what Mike Richardson said, Mike only works on Friday.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say.
Yeah. So in other words, I mean, because he had another job now.
No,
He got a
I know,
full-time job.
Mark.
So anyway, so I'm gonna speak to Mike. I'm
This
gonna
is
call
Mike
Mark,
Richardson.
that if you can't do it, you will go to Ben Heflin, Roman, and have them go through the process. there.
My point is that one of the discussion topics on tonight's agenda was to give $1,000 to a non-for-profit community organization that is A, not budgeted, and B, you have town employees that are pretty much not going to be able to make it to work, given the fact that they weren't given a raise and fuel is insane.
Right, I just want to tell you something, and it's going to be resolved.
And I understand that, but
Once, like I'm saying, we put the motion to Mike Richardson, and it was just somehow a foul of miscommunication with his part of the thing. He's going to correct it. If not correcting it by tomorrow, I'm going to call Roman Rollins and have him say.
and I understand that, but again, you have employees that are very, very upset. So please, when you look at giving donations to non-for-profits, please take into consideration
We are.
that you have very hardworking employees that are not being, they're not receiving any kind of compensation. And this year has been really hard for the employees. There were things
Tell me
said
about
at board meetings that really upset the employees.
Yep.
And it's really hard to work there and not feel appreciated. I'm not speaking personally. I feel appreciated at the town of Hurley, but I can tell you, there are other employees that do not. So please, as a board, I'm gonna ask again, I've said it about 100 times, take a moment, come into the town hall during the day if you can. See what the employees are doing, because they are not feeling appreciated. And they feel like, you know, the town board members don't say hello to them when they come in. They feel that they're ignored and they're frustrated. I'm not speaking for myself, but I'm telling you what is going around in the rumor mill. We have some really good employees, and we're gonna start to lose some if we don't look at our employees and take into consideration what they do for the town. That's
I
it.
just want to say,
Thank you.
we do appreciate it.
You bet.
No, we all do.
It's to say,
We all do.
there are some that do, and there are some that don't. I'm not here to point fingers, I'm just telling you what is said around the town hall. I am there probably more than any other employee. And I'm there early in the morning, I'm there late at night. I know what's said. So please take that into consideration, because again, you're gonna lose really dedicated employees.
Like you had a couple of employee appreciation days. When was the last one? It's been a bit, right?
For my time.
Wow, people, bringing food in and so forth.
When we were in for the last time. How
We
long
had-
ago was that?
Last decade?
No.
No,
it was
no.
not.
We had food
Like,
orders.
did you have
And-
Christmas you did
And I'll
something?
tell you that employees are doing it on their own, because I sponsored birthdays last year and scratch offs to every one of those employees. Every month I did it. Out of my own pocket, I don't mind, but that's what you do for your employees. So we celebrate birthdays, we give them $5 in scratch offs, we buy birthday cakes. This is I donated all of the cards, I donated all of the,
Have you thought about a sunshine?
we've thought about it, the employees have stated they cannot afford it.
No,
I bring in bagels, I mean, we try, Mike Fry's Pizza.
No, I've been like.
But I'm just saying overall, just
Right.
please take some time to see the employees you have, because they deserve to be appreciated and understood, and sometimes just heard. If you can, I know everyone has schedules, I know everybody works, I know everybody's busy, but please, if you can, just pop in. Hey, go around to everybody's desk. How are you? You know, how's your day? It just really makes someone feel super special.
I just have a question.
Absolutely.
So if people are feeling unappreciated,
Mhm.
right? And they're talking to you, but they're not talking with us. And you're saying that people come into board members come in and don't speak to people.
Yes.
That's what I'm being told.
Okay, so I hear you.
I've never experienced it, but I'm allowed to. So you can say hi to me, I'm gonna say hi to you.
Well, there's a lot of business that goes through you anyway, so, you know, you handle the money, so this is how this thing works. But I think what I wanna just ask, maybe it's time for the town board to come board to find a way to meet with staff.
I think that is the best idea
Because
I've ever
there is
heard.
no other solution. The platitudes that you're talking about, giving this and that, but that's not what's going to solve the problem.
Correct.
There's a foundational problem, cultural problem possibly that needs to be addressed, that people need to feel safe to be able
100%.
to speak and say what's on their mind and what's bothering them. So we might need to consider that as an option. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm bringing this to you again, because I'm the shop steward, people talk to me, and again, I'm loud and I'm there all the time. But, you know, I feel the board needs to know it, because it's not fair if there's a miscommunication, or you guys think everything's good and you don't know. So I'm bringing it to you just so that you can understand that. There was a lot of talk today about what was on the discussion topics, and it really upset some people. No,
I got two other things right there. People granted a cybersecurity grant. We were awarded a cybersecurity grant. We applied for, and it's going to increase our cybersecurity. By the way, we have we have MFA, multi-factor.
authentication.
Right, we have to do, this is the things, they give us, chips in a sense, that we can actually apply to this, the whole idea is we don't want to happen what happened in Tulsa. So we have that grant coming through. Xandom, we finally got the, council to do something. They sent out bids, and they got 4 bids came back, they're opening the bids up, and, they are now, taking the bids and going to the county legislature, asking for the funding more or less, and they are planning on starting to work on the north side, the cemetery side, putting a trail there, and this, the date that's starting it is going to be early fall.
Oh.
So they finally make a little.
Just bear in mind, we've heard some dates before.
No.
Coming on,
Like
so.
a year ago.
I'm holding, you know.
Well, I mean, it's not our control.
It's a trail, in other words,
They're gonna come, they're gonna.
it's two,
put a
it's two
culvert
ditches.
in and cover that over.
Oh, because of that, yeah, they have two ditches. You can't walk, you can't walk, except you walk at the end of it. So we, on one side, we're gonna put a culvert down there, more or less, and they're gonna put a truck.
It's been going.
They're gonna pave it, not shred it. And, the only problem, we're not gonna have a sidewalk, no curving. They kind of,
Right, but we
The
asked
ones
them to
that
put
pay
in,
the-
we asked them to put
rails?
in, stripes.
we can, that they'll do, yes.
Right,
yes,
that
yes.
they'll put in.
They put in stripes there, no parking, like those kinds of stuff. And then the other side, we are.
Designated as like, right, you don't
Yes,
drive on it.
yes. But the other side, on the south side, on the resident side, we are now working with them because what they want to do is not a couple park.
Yeah, they're going down to Millbrook now,
Right.
right?
We want to go down to Millbrook with the culvert. They want to go as far as Hillside, which then looks like Hillside down there.
Right, but that, in the latest thing, they said they're gonna go to Millbrook.
We said that, we go to Millbrook.
Well, they said that they're gonna go to Millbrook in the design now.
So, that. I make a motion to, open the,
No, we have to close public comment. We have one-
No, we have more coming.
More comment.
A couple things, when, Monica did about the.
Monica Claire.
Woodstock is doing a revow this year, they are in the process of doing. a
Oh,
revow. And, yeah. And their equalization rate went from 47% to 46%, so it didn't drop too much, and they are doing a revow this year, I know.
They did force, they did force it.
That's one. 2. Is it legal or not legal that you guys don't approve the vouchers and put the amount of the vouchers you approve it? None of the board minutes have, you approve the vouchers, you guys sign them. Me as a taxpayer, how much are you paying on vouchers each month? We don't know what the vouchers are. Can we have a resolution that you're paying vouchers in the amount of $20 or $4 million? It'd be nice to know what vouchers are being paid each month.
You want to also know, who's getting the vouchers also? Or the-
No, just the amount.
You
I
want
mean,
total amount?
I look at other towns
So
and they
basically
say,
what we'll do then, like.
they
all the
say
transfers,
vouchers are being paid in the amount
All right,
of,
okay, that's not a problem.
that would be nice.
All right, so what we'll do basically is when we do a transfer, we'll just post it.
No, so
No.
we already talked about this. We're gonna,
Yeah.
we already talked about this. I spoke to you about it. We're going to change the way that we do the presentation of the financial report. I just need 5 minutes to do it, which I don't have, but, we're gonna change it and it's going to include I don't know if it has to be a resolution, but it's going to include some sort of document. I'm still researching it, still working on it, that will give an update each month of the vouchers that were paid. But I'm in the middle of designing it. I've been a little busy because I've been working with Stephanie, training her to do the vouchers to get them off my plate. Once that's done, also my office has been a little disastrous. It is in the works and I know it needs to be done. You are very well.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot
I'm
of
working on it.
towns.
I'll pass this out. I'll give
I'm
you.
sorry, what?
Couple months ago, I brought up stuff, like the assessor's office and the assessor and all that. And there was a comment made by somebody, well, by April, they don't have nothing to do. Well, guess what? They do. Yeah, that's. So, not true.
No, you know something, that was all a comment made by someone.
So this is what he's supposed to do. I'll give everybody a copy. So I understand.
If you're talking about this is the one, this is Woodstock's.
No, comes from the state of what he's supposed to do, each month.
In other words, in December, they take a holiday.
A little bit. How did you get you like? Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have an extra, I'll take it. Sure, thank you.
All right, any else want to speak?
I just wanted to add that,
Al,
Alice, you
John.
finished?
Did you do anything else? Yes, I'm done for now.
Well, I just wanted to support that, because most resolutions would just have at least the town signed X number of dollars of vouchers this month, like that. It could be very short.
Well, they used
It's just the amount.
town clerk report.
Well, yeah, but I don't get
You
them.
should do that in a town clerk report every single month. which is what-
Right, because I don't get them, so I can't give that
No,
to
no,
you.
we'll get that. It's not a
Because we
problem.
have a
In fact,
bookkeeper now.
I'll work with you like, this week and we'll get done.
Just be nice to know
Yeah.
how much it's houses. When
You wanna know what?
I don't really care. I mean, highway this, bad, but if you're gonna spend,
She used to break it down, the highway, the lighting and the general fund.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
What that's spent each
just
month.
so,
Right.
know where it's going.
Absolutely.
Anybody else wish to speak? Patrick? Right there. Patrick, now's your chance. Oh, and Wilson back there. We don't want Greg speaking. All right, I make a motion to close public comment number 2.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
You gotta help me out with that.
Alright, so you're looking to make a motion to go into executive session on one matter, pertaining to an attorney-client session and go into executive session on one matter, which is public office law 105 pertaining to collective negotiations, pursuant to Article 14 for the church. Okay. In your motion, you're going into this with the town attorney. Anyone else?
That's it.
Okay. So that would be the motion.
All right, I second the motion. You get it.
Motion.
I make his motion.
So make a motion to go in.
Greg seconds. All in favor?
Right,